Professor Walter Lewin, I have an answer for you, and it's going to come in terms of a practical experiment. You requested 7,000 ohms. We have here 4.85 kilos, 30 gauge wire, and I did the math on that. It's actually about 14,000 ohms, or 14k. Now, this is where it gets messy. Ow, and heavy. This coil here is about to have 14,000 ohms of wire wrapped around it. You specified a voltage of approximately 1 volt. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to input approximately 500 volts switched through a H bridge. And inside that 14,000 ohms of wire, we have absolutely nothing but this gratuitous shaft right here is going to have one of these, possibly one of those, or those. Very large neodymium magnets. 2 of them actually. And if I put 1 or 2 watts of electricity, 1 or 2 watts, 5,000 volts, 500 volts, and a very small resistance, and of course by that I mean a very large resistance, 14,000 ohms, someone's going to have to do the math on this one, but it's going to come out to something in the realms of somewhere between 2 and 5 watts. Now, I've seen this done. It is messy. I'm a trained professional, and I adhere to all the laws of physics. But when I saw this demonstrated, the apparatus in question did not really comply to various commonly understood rules and regulations. That huge magnetic field, even though it was only driven by several watts of power, was able to spin those magnets, and it had quite a high shaft torque and a reasonable RPM. And we predicted something in the realms of 20 to 50 watts energy output from an input power of 2 or 3 watts. How is that possible? Well, when I trained as a student, essentially they say, and quite literally they say, we don't do that here, we don't talk about that here, we don't do that kind of thing. But you can go home and test it. So here we are, 19 years later, having explored quite a few other options in the meantime, several of which also provide rather anomalous readings. I like anomalous readings, but I seem to present the other train of thought, which is, of course, anomalous readings are bad. They're much like drugs. Don't take them. They don't work. But on the odd occasion, you do find something quite remarkable. Gratuitous results with a yield of 10 or 20 times the energy output that is put into the system. I have a similar setup on my roof, solar panels. They heat my hot water for free, and they subsidize my electricity. Very good. But would you buy something kooky with 14,000 ohms of resistance and large neodymium magnets? Would you do that? Why wouldn't you just have solar panels instead? I haven't quite worked that out. Unless you live underground and need a source of light or heat, it just doesn't make sense. So, I'll keep working on that one. I'll try and clean up the project a little, and the idea, and I'll spread the language out in such a way that it is actually given some form of credit, because I like to be simultaneously taken seriously and not at all. And that's actually a tricky thing to do. It takes some work. So I'm going to load up a few more improvised videos. Demonstrate a little magic. Create a free energy machine and run for the fucking hills. See you next time. Thanks, Dr. Lewin.